Hello, welcome to another video, and today I'm just going to go through my preparations for Guardian Takedown. It is releasing on Thursday, the 4th of June? Something around that. It's this Thursday, it's like right around the corner, and I cannot wait. But Gearbox have boasted its difficulty. They've boasted that it'll be a struggle to beat it. So I am looking forward to it, and these are my preparations for it. So, first I need to decide a character. I decided to go with Amara. It's the character I am most comfortable with. That is very important. So it was mainly between Flak and Amara, the characters I've played most in Mayhem 10. Flak's got the most damage, the one that I have the most comfortable true takedowns with at the moment. However, you kind of need to know what's coming, especially if you don't have health gate, which my Flak doesn't. So I decided to go with Amara, bit safer, it'll be slower, might be messier, might get overwhelmed with mobs, but Amara can tank through that, so I've decided to go with Amara here. I've been grinding a lot of guns to try and cover all bases. So the build I'll be using is going to be Hellzerker Amara, the one that I use all the time since launch. Personal space, Avatar, Forceful Expression, with max infusion, so I can run shock here. So even if I use a fire weapon, I can be doing a hefty amount of shock damage, since there's going to be a lot of shields in the Guardian Takedown. And then quickly over my my Mayhem, I've decided to try and keep it as neutral as possible, because I'm just that kind of person. So I've gone Slayer, since I don't have to interact with that, and it can basically be useless. Heal the Avenger, I don't really need to interact with that. It has screwed me over sometimes, but mainly when it's like a fire immune flesh enemy looking at you roaster, when it's a pain in the butt. But otherwise Heal the Avenger is fine. Chain Gang, I'd prefer Drone Ranger here, but Drone Ranger was removed because of an audio glitch. Hopefully that gets added back in, but Chain Gang only screws me if an enemy just like spawns there and instantly cryo chains me, but you know, if there's an enemy on the other side and they form a link and I run through it. So I've been cryoed a fair amount by Chain Gang, which sucks, but it's typically end up being the best. And then Postmortem. So I dislike them all. Roguelite I find fun, but again, I'm going into unknown territory. You're going to have to try and figure out new mechanics. There's going to be like puzzly mechanics to this raid. They've emphasized how that's a thing, and it isn't just a brawl like Maliwan Takedown was. So having health gate's probably going to be important as you're trying to figure stuff out whilst being shot at. So Postmortem, you can melt death fairly quickly. I'll go over my strategy for death, and it's only going to be weaker come Thursday because they are lowering the Mayhem health values on the higher difficulty, so we'll be able to punch through death a bit quicker come Thursday. And so as for the guns to that, the first one that I farmed up a lot and I got a complete set with is going to be the Monarch. It's an extremely dependable weapon, it's good for bossing, it's wonderful for death, that's why I've got 2 equipped right now. So this one is kind of like a general use in case my other weapons aren't up for the task. But the fire one here is for death, and I can swap to it. Well, both of them work. I feel like fire should be better than non-elemental, but they feel basically the same. Hell, even the corrosive one feels similar, so I don't really know what's going on there, but in any case, Monarch, really good for death. It's really good for bigger enemies that can take a lot of damage, and it's a great backup weapon for bosses, so I use the Monarch versus many phases of Wotan to save Sandhawk ammo, and I use it for the big heavies. Now, we do know in Guardian Takedown there's going to be a new chunky enemy with a lot of health. It doesn't look very Guardian constructy, so he might not be shields. It might be flesh, like Rampager. So I do have a set of Monarchs. I don't have a shock one, but we do have shock infusion. I got a corrosive one. I got a cryo phase cast one, very high base damage. So that'll be very useful in case there's a fire immune flesh enemy in there. And then I've got a fire and a non-ele one. I've been doing a lot of Monarch farming. OPQ is going to be my bread and butter gun. I've got a 390 one, and I've got a consecutive hits one. The 390 is, of course, better. It's not quite max damage, but it's bloody close, 400 off, and pretty much when it comes to an OPQ system, anything that's 8k or above, you're good. If you're getting like towards 7.9, towards 6k, that's when it starts dropping off a little bit. But I used a 6.3 for the longest time on a Q system, 390, without even knowing that it could go higher. It wasn't until somebody told me, like, hey, do you want a better OPQ system? Because mine was pretty rubbish. But now we got a good one there, so that'll be my bread and butter. It can get me killed a lot, especially since Guardians are aggressive, but this thing's just gonna melt through them. When it comes to the rank and file enemies, this shouldn't have any issues. It'll be when it comes to the bigger enemies, where we might have to break out the Monarch. Next I wanted a long-range, accurate weapon that will be very useful against, say, the Seras. They move around a lot, they're annoying to deal with, and the Kaesin is a wonderful pinpoint weapon. I've only got a fire one. I've been grinding for a shock one, and I cannot find one. I do have a radiation one on my flak, which I can quickly get just in case. But as I said, we've got infusion, so this one should do me. But shock Kaesins should be really, really good against those pesky Guardians that always like fly around off in distance really far away. So that, along with the OPQ system, should be really, really good. I've got a couple of older weapons, like Hyper Focus and Cutsman, in case they get any buffs. Of course, they're going to be better come Thursday, because the health changes anyway. But if they get any further buffs on that, I'll be quite shiny. But either way, they're just kind of taking up slots because I like them, and I'm hopeful. Reflux is here in case it gets really, really messy, but with ties that bind and indiscriminate, you don't need it on Amara. But for other characters, if you're not Amara, Reflux will be a lifesaver if you get overwhelmed by ads, especially since I believe it's the Heralds. They put armor on Guardians, so much armor. So this will be very, very useful to deal with that, especially with a shock ASE. So Reflux is very, very useful. I suppose I should discuss these three now since we're passing them. Anarchy, Recursion, and Yellowcake are going to be my backup weapons. I do not want to use these. I'm personally okay with Anarchy, but Recursion and Yellowcake are beyond ridiculous. If you watched my OP0 gear versus Mayhem 10 True Takedown when that difficulty first got added to the game, you'll know that the Recursion saved my arse. Because it's the only thing that did damage, because Recursion is stupid, so... This gun is so strong. Like, nothing against it, nothing against people who use this thing. Same goes for Yellowcake, same goes with Anarchy. You know, you do you, all the power to you. I'm just not a fan of it. I like to work around not using it if I can help it. And that's just how I find fun in this game. If you love the Recursion, if you live and die by the Recursion, you go for it, nothing against you. Playbearer, very, very good, especially on say, Flak or Zane. Mo's good too as well. I haven't managed to get much distance out of it on Amara yet, but it's there, it's shock, it's splash damage, so in case there's a lot of, you know, ads around. And then you'd be like, it's a lot of Sandhawks. Yeah, I've got 8 on me. I've been grinding at Sandhawks because I want some ASA ones. Because the quickest way to do damage right now on Amara, say for boss spawns you need to do damage right now, is ASA. Because consecutive hits, it's got a cap of 200, and it takes time to build it up. You fight off an entire magazine before your first shots have even hit the target. Before it even starts stacking up consecutive hits, before it even starts stacking up the Pearl. Whereas ASA is instant. And I figured with the Sandhawk specifically, 2 Phase Grass back to back, that's about 4 magazines. That's most of my ammo. So, I figured ASA would be really good for that. I've got a fire one in case the boss is not a shield. If it is a shield, well, we've got infusion and ASEs and we'll be sorted for shield. So I've got a fire one, I've got a cryo one as well, which is good because that's high base damage. And I do have a Phase Cast shock one as well if there is a shield we have to deal with. Airborne, I believe. Airborne is an anoint that I would keep an eye out for. If a really good gun drops with an airborne anoint, pick it up and just wait and see. Because people, you know, they trash this anoint, they meme it, but it's its own multiplier. It's multiplicative with everything. It doesn't go into V1 or V2 or anything, it's just there, and if they buff this any reasonable amount to, like, you know, 80 to 100%, the airborne anoint's going to be ridiculously good. It's going to be instant damage, and it's going to be very, very effective. So, keep an eye out for airborne anoints. Now, it might not get buffed, it might get to be like 50%, it might get deleted, who knows. We'll just have to see. But that's a thing that I have grabbed onto, just in case, because Wotan had this thing where if you were slow at dealing damage, the harder the fight would get, because he would spawn more and more ads. So the Sandhawk's good for punching through those phases, and that's why I've been farming them up, to try and punch through the phases the best I can on the new raid boss. And that goes for the guns there. Shields, Old God and Transformer, you don't need anything else. If you're going with a URAD setup, more power to you, going in blind without health gate. Front loader, of course, for that, so you can do front loader Pearl. But yeah, Old God, Transformer. I'm going to be focusing on my Old Gods. I've got a full set of them, and I've got a Transformer there if I need it. And then for grenades, I'm running Piss, because why would I run anything else? Don't need you. So, Relic, I have 3 here. I've been trying to farm for a Victory Rush, because a Victory Rush is just better than an Autos now. They've changed lifesteal. And I've got Cutpurse Launchpad there in case I really need the extra sniper ammo. But mainly I'm going to be running Snowdrift and the Pearl of Knowledge. I'll probably be running the Pearl of Knowledge because Amara doesn't have much in the way of gun damage compared to the other characters, and the Pearl is, you know, just an extra 90 on top of that. So, I believe it takes the 90, not the 20, and the up to 15 is actually 16. The Pearl's a bundle of spaghetti. Anyway, it's more damage. As for the class mod, it's gonna be Phaserker. Like, that's a no-brainer. But I am bringing a driver, and that is because they have mentioned the emphasis on multiplayer and puzzles and needing to be in multiple places at once. Now, they have also said, Mitsu has confirmed, that it will be soloable. And he also said that some Zane shenanigans helped him out. So it seems like there's going to be some mechanic where you have to be in 2 places at once. Now, the problem with my build is I don't have movement speed. I'm a solid brick that does a lot of damage, but I don't move very fast. I rely on Snowdrift for that. So I figured if there was ever a point where I needed to just move, I have a driver on me. I don't care about the passives. I don't care about building around it. Just for that +3 in mindfulness and the ability to trigger it. I even have a sellout up in my inventory to help with that movement speed. So to see if I need to get between A and B. Hopefully you don't have to. I could see that being annoying, especially whenever you get shot in this game, you get lifted off the ground and all that whatnots. But I've got a driver on me. It's like the first driver I got. I banked it, barely ever used it, and now I'll pull it out again, just in case I need the movement speed. And that's pretty much it in terms of kit. Because when it comes to potential buffs of guns, we haven't a clue. We don't know if the Crossroads is going to be better. We don't know if the Ripper is going to be hyper buffed and meleeing an enemy makes it do the highest DPS of any gun in the game. We don't know. So I just kind of have to go with what we do know. And that's why I've been farming the top guns. Will they be nerfed? Probably. But hopefully only to keep it in line with the health changes of the Mayhem scaling, because we know Mayhem 7, 8, 9, and 10 are having their health values reduced. This is going to make every gun in the game just better in those difficulties. So I wouldn't be surprised if they tone down the Mayhem 6 and Cartel guns just a little bit, just to keep it in line. Hopefully they don't do anything after, like, beyond that. I wouldn't like to see any of these new guns lose effectiveness, especially the Kherson. I love the Kherson so much. So yeah, hopefully they don't go anything extreme with that. And otherwise, I feel like I'm in a pretty good situation here. Of course, I got a bunch of other stuff on my flak, mainly URAD stuff. URAD's ridiculously strong. And yeah, that's going to be my Amara setup. I'm going to be doing true takedown on the moment it drops. I'm just going to jump straight into the hardest difficulty. Cannot wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let me know what character and setup and any plans that you've got going into Guardian Takedown. I'm curious to see any further ideas that maybe I haven't thought of, but I tried to cover all of the damage types that I'd need. The Guardian tanks that we know of, and the fact that there's a new one, the boss melting and whatnot, so hopefully we'll be good, but we'll find out on Thursday. So until next time, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.